All right, this is where I was going next. All right, so your boy Glenn Stretch Smith says that Jaden Blue's work habits, from what he's hearing, are suspect and borderline lazy, in quotes. And what's the merit to that? What do you make of that? Of course, I got to get your take on this.
Yeah, well, it's I think Stretch, who you just referenced, who is a longtime friend of mine,
Former Cowboy scout.
He's a former Cowboy scout and coach. He coached for Switzer, and he coached with Switzer at Oklahoma back in the day. He played at Texas. He learned a valuable lesson. I think every once in a while, and I've had it happen to me, you kind of start talking on a podcast and everything, and then all of a sudden, when you see that, like, one quote come out, even heard Scotty Scheffler talking about it after the British Open, people not understanding what he meant because they tried to take a small bite of it. So I think Stretch was interested. Now, there's safety in numbers. Now others have come out and said, well, yes, I had been hearing that same thing. You know how reporters do, Pete? Yeah. And Scotty, they're like, I knew this, but I just, but I can confirm this. Like, okay, just let him have his little scoop or whatever. But I don't know what they exactly make of this. I have looked into it and kind of delved into this guy's past. I mean, I tend to think, let's just look what he did in college. And he was pretty remarkable for a lot, especially last season. So I don't really read too much into this, but boy, if this doesn't light a fire into him, I mean, that's not fun to show up as a rookie and you already have people questioning your work ethic.
Yeah.
And so, and if you look kind of closely, at this guy's background, Stretch is pretty interesting. Jaden Blue moved his senior year of high school, and from what I can understand, just did not play his senior year. Like I try not to I mean, this was a long time ago now, so I don't think he should be. It's like these people that say dumb stuff on Twitter when they were 16. Yeah. I don't make too much of that stuff, but I would say there's a little bit of a troubling history of a guy maybe not desperate to put in the time. Let's put it like that. I would not. I don't know. As far as that comment you said, because I think we have to be careful with wording and phraseology. Yeah. Especially in the climate we're in, like it's not probably a great, and I'm not even saying Stretch said it. It was more like maybe he was quoting somebody else.
Yeah.
But I think that this guy probably will come to camp very motivated to kind of show off and show everybody that he has been working. So again, if he comes out in the preseason and looks great and runs for a lot of yards, then this will be nothing. If he struggles or gets hurt early, then this will stick with him for a while, and that's the way this thing will unfold.
I hate to drill down on this, but one more question for you, because Stretch just about as well as anybody. Is it out of context for him to say something like this? Like, that's not really who he is, trying to drum up stuff like that.
No, you're right. I mean, he usually is just trying to kind of bring insight, but he does know people with the Cowboys organization. And so I would just say that it was not my podcast. It was that I do with Werder. It was on some kind of locked on thing that Cam does too. Locked on Cam, where you just kind of go around writing the craziest headlines possible. It used to drive me nuts. And Cam would come up with something, Baylor rips bar, Aranda rips somebody. It's like, Cam, just settle down a little bit here.
No, I always say, hey, Matt, real quick. Here's always, I do an impression. Like, ready? Like, is Baylor going to leave the Big 12? Is Dave Aranda taking a job at HEB? Locked on Baylor's next. Like, that's how they start. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I get it. You got to get up there in the algorithm, and man, I need Scotty's help doing all that. I've decided I'm gonna soon. I'll be making some announcements, and I'm just gonna take over some algorithms. I don't even understand what that is, but I'll definitely be kind of jumping in the middle of some algorithms. And I may end up like Cam and I'll be trying to tell Scotty, let's come up with the wildest headline possible. But no, that's not really like Stretch. And that kind of made him uncomfortable that suddenly he was being quoted in all these stories out there like a source or whatever. I think he was just trying to kind of shed light on the deal. And Stretch is funny because like he played at the University of Texas, but he's kind of a harsh critic of everything that go. Like you would think, oh, they're riding high, back-to-back playoffs, Sark. He must love Sark. And he doesn't really have that mentality, Stretch, a guy who played tight end at Texas. Can you imagine him, 1983 or whatever it was, like 6'7", lining up at tight end? I mean, that really would have been
an exciting time to be a college
intimidating
football player as well, too. That's probably really
Yeah. And by the way, he's tried to fight me before, and that is just scary. Like one time in typical Mosley fashion, he used to help us in Dallas radio, and he was in there on a conversation. And I heard him say something a little off color, and I, being me, made a loud comment, like, hey, could we clean up our language around here or something? And I think he ended up chasing me down the hall. Like, I'm not talking about being funny, like ready to crush me. And back then I was in my early 30s and pretty quick, still had some pretty good quickness. And so I was able to, even though my nickname in college, by the way, was Slow-Mo, but it really wasn't about my speed. It was just the rate I did everything, talked, moved, everything. But yes, I was known as Slow-Mo in the Phi Gam house, even though we didn't have a house.